When I was born, I had 5 toes on my left foot, but now I am down to only 4, bringing my 2-foot total down to 9. See? So what happened? Did I have an accident? Did the toes get together, hold a tribal council, and vote the big toe off the foot? Did it just fall off? Did I put it under my pillow and get a quarter from it from the toe fairy? No, it was none of that. What happened was I fell asleep one day, and while I was sleeping, somebody came along and hacked the toe off my foot. Now, I'll grant you that this sleep was anesthesia induced. The guy doing the hacking was a licensed and professional surgeon with a good reputation on the Big Island. And I did sign a consent form to have it done, because if I didn't have it done, life would be so much worse. See, what was happening was I had a very bad foot infection. I went into the hospital for that. They had IVs pumping antibiotics into me to cure the foot. The doctor said to me one day, "Sorry, Jim, looks like we're going to have to amputate that toe." See, the flesh under it was getting all gangrenous, dying, decaying. So in order to save the rest of the foot, the toe had to go. And sure, I was thinking, wow, this really sucks. This is the last thing I want to deal with, having a toe amputation, hobble around on 9 toes for the rest of my life. But I thought, well, what am I going to do about it? Sounds like it needs to be done, so I might as well just accept that. So I accepted that. And when I accepted that, all the stress just sort of went away because I'm not worrying so much. I'm thinking, now, because this is happening, I'm just going to adapt to what that's going to mean to me in the future and in the recovery process and beyond. And I gotta be honest with you, it wasn't bad at all. An hour after surgery, I was up and walking already. At the end of my hospital stay, I got in my car. I drove away myself. I went to my favorite store. I bought some snacks. I went to the ocean. I sat at the ocean, enjoyed my snacks, and watched the waves. And today, I don't even walk with a limp. And that is the origins of the 9-toe way philosophy. Control what is in your power to control, and adapt to the parameters of that which you cannot. You see, I could not control the fact that this infection was in my foot and that the flesh was dying and the toe needed to be amputated. But what I could control was my attitude about it. I could tell myself, don't get upset. It's going to be all right. There's no worries. I mean, people go through this all the time. This is not like some freakish thing that only you will ever experience, Jim. Millions of people have had their toes amputated, and they're doing just fine, I am sure. So I could control my attitude about that. I could think, yeah, I'm just this statistic now. I'm just a 9-toed statistic, but that's okay. The doctor's telling me I'll still be able to walk. The doctor's telling me my life will still be normal. And he was right. So I adjust my attitude to think, well, everything's going to be fine. I don't need to worry. I think everything's going to be okay, and I could control the healing of it. I could keep the bandages on. I could take the medicines that he's given me to help it heal. I can keep it wrapped up when I take a shower so it doesn't get wet. And I did all these things, and it worked out. And it worked out with a minimum of stress. Because if you can't control it, why let it stress you out? Just adapt to it and roll with it. The 9-toe way philosophy is essentially rooted in Stoicism. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that originated in the 3rd century Greece and Rome. The basic tenets of Stoicism is to live in harmony with what is natural, what is naturally occurring. So if you can't control it, live in harmony with it anyway, because there's nothing you can do about it, because it is what it is. It's divinely inspired. You cannot change that. So when I say control what is in your power to control and adapt to the parameters of what you cannot, I'm essentially saying that in my own words. It's my way of saying it. It's my way of summing it up. Stoicism is actually a very complex, well, it's not complex. I mean, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to think about. They go into a lot of details, but it all boils down to live in harmony with what is natural and what cannot be altered or changed. Control what is in your power to control. Adapt to the parameters of what you cannot. I know the example of a toe amputation surgery is a pretty extreme example of dealing with something that's out of our control. It's not something everybody goes through. Let's face reality. However, there are many things in this world that are pretty universal that we've all experienced at one time or another that maybe we didn't want to, but we had to anyway. Take, for example, a traffic jam. Is there anybody watching this right now who has not experienced sitting in traffic? If there is, you're the lucky one. Traffic happens, we get stuck in it, we want to move forward, but we're stuck there. We just have to accept the traffic jam as the natural order of the universe, just as I had to accept a foot infection and a toe amputation as the natural order of the universe. What could I do about it? I just had to accept it. I just had to go with the flow and adapt to it, adapt to the paradigm of that operation and that hospital stay, just as sometimes we have to do sitting in a traffic jam. What can we do? Cars aren't moving. Sure, we can get upset, we can get angry. There's a place for anger in this world. It's productive, it's useful, but I'll talk about that in another video. Sitting in a traffic jam, it's probably not very useful, because as angry as you get, as frustrated, as hyper as you get, still not moving, are you? Doesn't matter how much you bang your fist if you're angry, if you're one of those people who want to honk their horn as if that's going to make the traffic move at all. It's not. But what the problem is, you don't have control, and that's probably what's frustrating. So control what you can control. What can you control in the paradigm of a traffic jam? You can control your breathing, practice mindfulness. It's a very good meditative and yoga practice. You're sitting there anyway, why not just follow your breath? Listen, you can choose what you're listening to, the stimulation that's coming at you. Listen to some music you like. You got Bluetooth, you can have a playlist, listen to your music, find a radio station you like, an audio book perhaps, because I'm telling you, you're sitting there anyway. Make the best of it. When you're stuck in a situation you don't necessarily want to be stuck in, think about the good part of it. Think about something positive that comes from that. The traffic jam, for example. Say, for example, you're on your way to work. Maybe there's something about your job you're not in the mood for. Maybe you don't really want to be there. Maybe there's a coworker who gets on your nerves. Now you have an excuse not to be around them so much because you're going to get there late. And it's out of your control. It's out of everybody's control. Nobody can be upset with you or mad at you because you're stuck in a traffic jam. So, that's less time you got to spend at work with that annoying coworker. That's a good thing, right? None of this that I'm saying in this video is really all that groundbreaking. It's pretty simple stuff, really. Sometimes we just need to be reminded of these things, and I hope that's what I'm doing. I hope I'm just giving you a reminder of just how simple life can be. It doesn't always have to be complicated. Things happen. Reality sets in. We end up in the hospital sometimes. We get stuck in traffic sometimes. And things come at us that we can't necessarily control. So we have to adapt to what we are dealing with and live within the parameters that is created. Everything that goes on kind of creates its own little universe for us. When you think about it, then we have to live within that universe. And those universes have paradigms all their own, and we are in that paradigm. So we have to adapt to that. Control what you can control. Control your breathing, you control your stimulation that's coming at you. Sometimes you can't. But if you can, why not? It's way less stressful if you're enjoying some music that you like, isn't it? So, stuck in a traffic jam, listen to some music you like. Yeah, it's that simple. If you're in the hospital, what can you do in the hospital? Read a book. Yeah, read a book if you're sitting in a hospital bed. Find things that you are in control of. And that is what's going to de-stress your life. Something to think about. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. There's more on the way. Oh, and click around the other videos on my channel. You'll find something you like.